I think we're live.
Hey
Hello
guys.
everybody. Stefan here together with Robin, again helping me out for another live stream.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here again. It's always a good time being here in the stream and trying out some interesting hardware.
Yeah, perfect. And it's always just making it easier for me taking a look at the chat and everything. So yeah, hello everybody.
So,
3D Listener. I already see quite a couple of well-known names. Hey Christoph. Hey Kenneth.
Familiar. I'm fine, thanks. How are you? I'm doing great. Like always, the only thing that I'm missing today is something on the Prusa printer actually.
Yeah, so I have to actually drop a bombshell, but there won't be any sous vide cooking on the Prusa today. One thing is because I hope this is going to be a kind of short stream, and the other thing is that the new firmware of the Prusa is giving me thermal runaway warnings quite often. So this is currently bothering me a bit, and I need to play around with it a little bit more. So yeah, no sous vide pizza, no steak today, but I guess it's still going to be interesting.
Sous vide pizza? What is sous vide pizza? Do you
I don't know.
have sous vide pizza?
I don't know if that would work out.
We should try that.
you might be able to warm up some pizza.
Oh yeah.
You can directly put it on the heat pad.
Yeah, or you need the enclosed built chamber to get the pizza.
Yeah. Hi John. Hi to Norway. Will you visit the Make Munich fair? I think I won't be making it to Munich. I think next week, just because at the moment there's so much stuff going on. You might have also noticed that video uploads haven't been that regular as they used to be in the past, but work is keeping me busy, and I'm just, well, I had colds over the last couple of weeks, so everything just slowed down a little. But
by work you mean working on your new gaming hardware, or what is define work?
Yeah, I gotta admit that I have been playing Battlefield 5 quite a bit in the last couple of weeks, but I just noticed that from time to time you need to just relax a little and do something else than 3D printing.
Yeah, sure. I mean, in a 3D game and 3D printing is kind of related, so...
Yeah, definitely. So we have even guys from Singapore right here. Hey to Singapore. It's quite late for you, probably, I guess.
As always, I try to keep an eye on the chat and yeah, try to assist you unboxing the hardware.
Yes.
You want to start, or you want to say you want to wait?
No, I guess we are all set. I don't know how many have already joined us, but that doesn't matter because we are already 10 minutes in. So for today's stream, I have a printer which is actually not that recent. The ANYCUBIC i3 Mega has been out for, I guess, even more than 2 years, but a co-worker of mine recommended that printer to me almost every day, and I thought when ANYCUBIC just got in touch with me, I thought this would be just a nice machine to quickly put together and see how it works.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
I'm also seeing that Tom is here. Hey Tom, thanks for joining us.
Hi Thomas, how are you doing?
So
I heard Thomas is streaming right today, or is it?
Yeah, I also heard rumors that there might be another live stream today, so stay tuned for that. Alright, so I guess without further ado, let's unbox the printer. The setup should be quite simple, and get it printing and see how it works. So I have one big box right here, which this time didn't come to me via GearBest. It was actually sent to me directly from Amazon.
From Amazon?
From Amazon, yeah, so they have their ANYCUBIC printers in stock in, well, probably most of the Amazon stores around the world. It's a pretty similar printer to the Ender 3. It's a pretty similar printer to the Ender 3. The build plate is a little bit smaller, and it is a little bit more expensive, but we'll just see how it performs, how the features it has just come together. So yeah, let's, I guess, crack it open and see what's inside. So if you guys have any questions on the specs or something like that, just yeah, drop a comment and we try to answer it. Also, let me know if audio and video is fine, because today I'm the first time streaming from my new workstation.
It's a challenge as always. But I think the bottleneck is always the microphone on the table, right? So do you think that's gonna be better on a boom stand or something?
Yeah, I could maybe give that a try.
It's picking up the the noise from the table.
Yeah, but this time at least the laptop is not directly next to the microphone, and so you probably won't be able to hear the fan. Audio is quite loud. Okay.
Yeah.
Is the quality still okay? Because if it's too loud, you can just turn it down. And
it's kind of in the yellow sometimes. So let me just bring it down a little bit.
Yeah, we're not peaking at least.
Yeah. Okay. Let's give it a shot.
Some have already been asking what the difference is between the normal i3 Mega from ANYCUBIC and the i3 Mega-S, which is hopefully right here in the box. The difference are quite minor. So the main difference is that they have a Titan style extruder on the printer, which is helping you with flexible filaments. They also, let me take a look at my cheat sheet. They have the spool holder in another place, which is supposedly better. And they have a filament sensor, which is now not flopping around in the breeze, but fixed to the frame. All right. So,
so in theory, we shouldn't have too much work putting it together.
In theory, we shouldn't have too much more work. So, different to the Ender 3, this is an almost fully built printer, so the only thing we are supposed to do is, I think, just fix the gantry in place and level the bed, and then we should be all set. So, excuse the noise, please. Do you want to grab the second camera?
Of course.
Let's maybe go to the PIP webcam.
Okay.
Alright, so there you can see on the inside, everything is neatly packed in here.
The sample filament.
What do we have in here? So we have some sample filament in different colors. It's all PLA, I think. Then
we got a pretty decent electronic smell in there. Like,
well,
you smell that?
Well, it has been.
I don't know.
I've seen worse, or I've smelled worse. It's the typical Chinese smell. This is quite nice. So we have a spare hot end in here. Then we have some needles in here. The typical spatula. I think an additional Bowden tube. The Schuko-Stecker, the power plug, spool holder, and a couple of tools. But yeah, let's take a look at that.
I mean, are you sure this is a spare hot end? I mean,
well, yeah, I don't know. I hope this is a spare hot end because I don't want to bolt that in place. All right. So what you can see in here is there are the linear rods. We have the electronics in here, which is all pre-wired.
Fully enclosed?
Fully enclosed.
You want to take it out?
Yeah, currently it's upside down, so let's take that out. And don't break anything.
Looks heavy.
Wait, it's moving. Okay.
This looks like a solid unit.
Oh, yeah. All right. So we have the hotbed on here, which is ANYCUBIC's Ultra Base, which I have never been working with, but many say that it's a really nice textured surface, which helps you, well, getting the prints being grabbed to the build platform during printing.
So this is a glass bed with some kind of coating on it, or
yeah, I guess.
But it's not something you can remove, right? It's just.
I think it's glued to the aluminum sheet below. But yeah, let's take all of the other parts out. So nice foam packing in here. This is really good, and it's supposedly even CNC cut. It's really nice.
More filament.
More filament. We have a full spool of PLA, white PLA filament in here.
Do they have their own brand actually?
I would not know. It just says PLA white in here, so it's probably just some generic brand. But it has a qualified certificate in here.
Oh yeah, that's always a good sign.
Yeah, just like the QC stickers. Something else which is pretty interesting. Could you maybe move the camera a little? There you can see that right here. I hope you can see that. The plugs at the stepper motors are, well, glued in place via hot glue, so that they don't come loose during the shipping process.
Well, Frank, thank you very much for your very generous donation.
Thank you, Frank. That's very nice of you. Thanks. So yeah, that just keeps me motivated and just helps me spend more time in well, which is practically my hobby at the moment. Yeah, making videos always takes, for me at least, quite a bit of time. So if you guys are supportive, that really helps me out.
And me also, because I think that means we get sous vide cooking next time again.
Yeah, I can finally afford another tenderloin steak for you. So keep the donations rolling. All right.
Okay.
So I can see a hot end in here, which is pre-installed with the nozzle in there. That means we have a spare hot end in the box, which is quite a nice thing.
That's a nice feature, but it's nothing you can like hot swap and have a different nozzle size or something?
No.
It's really a spare part?
It's really a spare part. It's an E3D V6 style hot end. Yeah. You're right.
Something left in the box, or should I take it?
I guess there's nothing left in the box.
Give me the box.
Oh my god. Just throw it on.
Oh yeah, just put it over there. That's better. So let's switch back to the main view maybe? Or do you want to go through the frame?
Oh Mike, that's really nice. Thank you very much for the donation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's great.
That's really great. Hi there to Australia. Is it early for you in the morning or late? Anyways, I'm at the moment quite flattered by the donation, so that's really nice of you guys. Yeah, let's continue and let's see what we have on the table. Give me the camera. $3 a.m. in the morning for you, Greg. That's pretty...
Yeah, that's early.
That's pretty early. Alright, let's just take a look at the parts before we take a look at the manual in order to see how we get that together. So as I have already said, we have in here a E3D V6 style hot end. The heat block is a little bit different, but the nozzles the nozzle looks very similar to the normal V6 nozzle.
Do you see any 3D printed parts?
There, as far as I can see,
not even the heat shroud.
Not even the heat shroud. The heat shroud is actually bent metal, sheet metal. So this is quite nice. There is a... Maybe let's get the camera again.
You want to give me the camera?
Yeah. Can you grab that? So what's also really nice, they have one of these, how do you say, there's a small daughter board in here where all of the plugs connect, and so not all of the wires are routed all the way to the electronics box, which makes changing heater cartridge, thermistor, and all of the things which are right here at the hot end way easier, because you don't have to unwrap the wires and everything.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like a distribution board or something.
Yeah, it's distribution board. That was the word I was looking for. Yeah, So also something which is pretty nice is that we have a dual C-axis. So we have two stepper motors. That is also something which is different to the Ender 3, for example, and sometimes just helps you that the x-axis stays more level over time.
And they also glued in the connectors.
Yeah, all of the connectors are glued in because probably they had issues that some of these wires came loose during the shipping process. Perfect. All right. Yeah, let's get back to the main camera.
A lot of hot glue, yeah. Did you ever had issues with like rattling loose any connectors?
No, but if you are shipping maybe 1,000 printers,
Yeah.
one of these has this issue, and this is always bad. On the other side, it makes maybe changing some of these parts a little bit harder because you have all this hot snot in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's fine. All right. So let's take a look at the manual and see how we need to put this thing together.
Audio slightly flipping. Yeah, I see red here.
Thanks, Tom. I need to get some proper wireless lavalier mics for probably the next live stream. Would be a good investment.
No, so we cooking again next live stream.
Because I spent all of the...
The budget is like stripped completely.
Yeah. So we have a fully printed full color manual in here, which let's change the camera again. Okay, so there is what's in the package, an overview over the printer, the menu directory, the installation process, so what we will be doing now. Yeah, and then everything from starting the leveling process, homing and everything, to the first print. So nozzle settings.
Oh, that's a pretty good guide, actually.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Well, that would be something nice to have on the display also, like a guide like that.
Maybe they have something on there.
Some kind of setup wizard or something.
Yeah. How to install Cura and then the Cura setup. The pictures in here are still from a very old Cura version, so they're not compatible with the most recent one, but just some things have shifted, and the rest should be the same. So that's pretty nice. I guess we'll just walk through that manual and put everything together, and then see if it's printing.
You want to go back to the full screen?
Yeah, let's go back to the full screen.
Yeah, hi Brain for Nothing. Good to see you again.
Can I take that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I am working on a new video.
Yeah,
I know. I'm always telling you.
We haven't been talking about that, or we have been talking about that for quite a while, and actually already in the last stream,
yeah.
Which is...
I know. I had to order a couple of parts from China, and then Chinese New Year came and all that stuff, and I'm still waiting for one last part to arrive. But the video is 95% finished. Once that part arrives, I got a new video.
Perfect. I'm really looking forward to that, and
yeah, me too.
Especially seeing your new studio.
Yeah, and I got a new studio, which is kind of still in the works, but it's good enough for making videos.
Yeah. All right. So the first thing we're gonna do is install the frame, and we need M5 by 8 hex screws. So let's take these things right here out of the box.
We might need some tools, or
I think they have Chinese tools included in here.
Yeah, oh yeah.
There's a spanner. There are even gloves in here. I don't know why you would need gloves with such a printer. So these are not M5 screws, these are the M5 screws. Oh, also something pretty nice. They have a 5-pack of spare nozzles in here.
All the same size, or?
No, they're actually not the same size. It's an 0.4 millimeter nozzle, it's an 0.5 millimeter nozzle. It's an 0.8 millimeter nozzle, and that's something pretty nice. Which I haven't got with any other printer so far. So yeah, kudos for that. All right.
I mean, these are like, that's a serious toolbox right here.
Yeah. The typical snipping tool. I gonna be a Bitcoin miner in the future USB stick.
And that's not a stick.
That's
a card reader.
Yeah, that's a card reader. A spare end stop. Tweezers. That's pretty nice. And the screws that we need. Functionalism SD cards. Yeah, there's also SD card in here. Did I miss it? Ah, yeah, it's still in there.
Oh, maybe it's the 500 gigabyte version.
It's a 500
which is
gigabyte.
actually just like 500 megabytes or something.
Are there any comments at the moment? Yeah. All right. So, the first thing we need to do is we need to get the gantry below the frame and then put it into place with 8 screws. So let's get that out of the way. Could you maybe already open the bag with the screws?
What kind of board is in there? That's a good question. I do not think we can take a glimpse inside because it's fully enclosed.
Do you?
Let me see.
Yeah, let's maybe. It's probably a 32. Ah, we can see it right here. So if you guys are interested, we can also just open it up for a second. I don't know.
I think we might even. I think it's pretty easy. It's just the bottom board here.
Yeah, it's just the 8 screws there.
Let's open it. But I'm not sure if I can, lay it down like that. I don't think so. It's pretty heavy. I don't want to lay it down on the heat bed.
Can we use something as a space in between?
I mean, we got the spool here. Oh yeah, that's good.
Maybe turn it 90 degrees?
90 degrees? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good. You want to give me the camera again?
Yeah. Well, undoing the screws is maybe not the most interesting thing, but let's see. Yeah, it's all sheet metal, so that's pretty nice. The wiring job, as far as I can see it so far, it looks quite okay. So everything is zip tied in there.
So that's a box standard power supply like you would expect. I think it's almost always a good thing if you have the power supply in the enclosure and just put the mains cable in, so you got one box less in your workspace.
And you have a bottom cover over the power supply so that you don't accidentally get your fingers near the mains wires.
You can always upgrade to TMC 2130. As far as I can tell from looking inside, they are just plugged in. Yeah, that's true.
That is pretty cool. So, as you guys can see, well, you're the electrician. Do you want to go over the...
This just looks like the board you can actually buy from AliExpress or something? Or am I mistaken? It's an ANYCUBIC 2560. So I think that's a standard chip for the... I don't know the names, like the open source. What are the names from the open source boards?
So if this is an ANYCUBIC 2560, that's just an Arduino Mega.
Yeah.
That's a 8-bit controller.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, but
the separate drivers are placed on pin headers. So I guess these might be pin compatible to the TMC version.
Yeah, they should be, and that's pretty nice. So you can change them and get the printer quieter.
The funny thing is, the fan is just covering like 3 or 5. So
I don't know which ones they are, but yeah, anything else? So we have a full-size SD card. Breakout board in here, which is pretty nice. The screen seems to be some...
I think you have to go away a bit further because...
Okay. Yeah, the screen seems to be something which ANYCUBIC did on their own, at least the PCB or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just some kind of distribution board we
Yeah.
had before, which is community. Many printers do that actually. They have an external display board which is just responsible for displaying content.
Yeah.
Looks good. I mean, the connectors are also glued in place. Not all, but a couple of them.
One of the things which might be interesting, let's check if the mains terminals are all like fastened properly, because this is something which kind of goes wrong with some of the printers, that they just don't really tighten all of these screws. So
Looks tight, feels tight. Yeah, he slipped a couple of times right here. Yeah, I mean that looks okay. The selector is set to 220 volts, which is a good thing for us.
Yeah. So
24 or 12 volts? That's a good question.
it's a 12-volt power supply with 300 watts, unfortunately. This is also something which is different to the Ender 3, for example, because the Ender 3 uses a 24-volt power supply. All right, do you want to switch back to the main camera? So yeah, let's put the cover back on. Everything looks quite nice. Below the cover, can't complain there, but
Yeah,
I'm also no electrician.
I mean, the wires are plugged in, and you know, yeah. I mean, you see everything. Like people forget to put in one 12-volt wire to the heat bed, and it just shorted to the case or something.
Chassis ground. There is
I don't think so, right?
no. There is no chassis ground.
Oh, that's worth an upgrade, actually.
Yeah, but even though everything is powder coated, grounding the chassis would be something which is a good thing for such an application. Because if one of the wires gets loose because of vibration.
It's always a good thing to ground the case. You don't want to have the live wire on the... Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are right. The connection is probably not directly to the casing, but the power supply is screwed into the casing, which then gives it kind of a ground. Well, we can try it out. I have a...
You got the meter here?
I got a cheap meter. Do we need to...
I can check that, or... And
With the
you can
electrician?
continue. Yeah, because you need to be the electrician to do that.
Well, I can screw bolts in there, and you can do the electrician's work.
Yeah. Let me...
Yeah.
Looks ground.
Yeah, so everything seems to be grounded. You're confused by my multimeter?
What is that here? Is
It's,
that an ODB for a car, or what is that?
no, it's actually you can connect it via USB to your PC. So I don't know if it's just a cover with connectors below it.
This looks like the ODB port you have in your car.
Yeah, you might be right there.
I don't know. Okay.
All right.
We have
So,
any questions.
I think not that many questions at the moment. Questions from my side: is any one of you going to MERV this year? Because I, well, finally decided to join Tom, Joel. Joe is going. So it would be interesting or really nice to say hello to some of you guys, if you are there. And also say hi to me, because I'm a shy guy. All right. So, let's put the gantry onto the printer and screw it into place.
Do you want to consult the manual for that, or?
Well, I consulted the manual. We need to slide it in there from the back, and then we have these four screws on the side.
How do you want to?
Yeah, let's just do it this way. Yeah, so 3D Gazner, that's pretty cheap because I paid almost 700 euros for my flight, which I booked like a month ago from Munich. And well, hotel wasn't actually that expensive. It's just like 70 bucks a night. So we'll be staying for 3 nights there and then directly flying back, because also my work doesn't really allow me to be on such a trip for longer at the moment. Even though
70 bucks a night. Are you sleeping in a tent?
No, it's Best Western.
Just for information, it looks like these screws are not just going into a threaded sheet metal. It looks like they have a serious inserted thread in there.
Ah, that's pretty cool.
You want to do these?
Yeah, I'll do these.
Because you're the mechanical engineer.
Yeah. Well, you also studied mechanical engineering for a semester or two?
Yeah, I did. And then I went, or I chose to go into programming instead.
And now you're an electrician.
Yeah, it's hard. I would do everything, like electrician, mechanical engineer. It's all interesting for me.
I really envy you for having this experience, because if I would have the time and the money, I would really like to study mechanical engineering and also do some programming lessons, because if you have the ability and are able to connect all of these things, you can make pretty good.
That's
pretty
actually
cool
the thing. That's actually the thing that interests me. That you can, like, make the enclosure, make the PCB, make the program, and make the mechanical stuff.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But in your last video, you were kind of making a PCB and doing some programming work.
Well, I understand the basic things, but not the really complicated ones. Camel is asking no MOSFETs. There are probably no external. I haven't seen any external MOSFETs on there, but if the board has been laid out properly, there is no need for external MOSFETs.
And what I see is that they have a regular size SD card reader, which I like because I hate the fiddly, tiny,
It's always hard to get them in there.
Is that the filament sensor right here? Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's a filament runout sensor. It's pretty deep down. And one of the interesting things compared to, well, all of the other printers I have is that the orientation of the y-axis motor is like 90 degrees tilted and directly connected to the frame down here, which is, I think, a pretty nice design choice they made.
So far it feels pretty good.
I don't know, it seems at the moment that this results in, well, that it's kind of hard to adjust
the tension
of the belt, because there are no slots right here. But yeah, we'll find that out. They seem to be quite okay in tension. Can you maybe block Charlie? Yeah.
How do you actually?
I think that's all right.
Kind of confirm that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. So we have done the mechanical connection, and we'll head over to the wiring step. So the thing we need to do now is we need to plug in these 3 wires. Doesn't look to be that hard.
You want to give it the camera?
Ah, yeah. Sorry. Totally missed that. Change the camera angle.
So these are color coded?
These are color coded, so I have a green plug right here and a black one right here. And we have the same female, no, these are the male connectors.
Yeah, these are the male connectors.
Um,
It's pretty dark. I don't think people can see that, but
I'm sorry, lighting is not the best on this side. Yeah, so these are plugged in. Do you know where this one goes?
I think in the filament runout sensor.
Ah, yeah. That makes sense.
which is located kind of like.
But I think they changed the position due to the location
Is
of...
the spool right here?
The spool holder will be sitting right here, so it probably goes down here through the sensor, then into the extruder.
What are these screws up here for? Like the long ones? Do you know that?
These are adjustment screws for the
end stops.
For the end stops.
Ah, okay. Oh yeah, you can see it right here. There's a nut down there.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I think we are done assembling. No, the filament spool holder.
Yeah, I think the electronics is fine.
You guys want to see some magic smoke?
I'm not hoping for any magic smoke. That's the reason why I asked for a kind of reputable brand.
Guys, you missed one plug.
No, we actually did not, I think, because we plugged in 3.
What is the red plug for?
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. Thanks, man. There is... it's hidden below here.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's...
So let's change the camera angle again. Thank you. Who was the first one? Yeah, thanks for letting us know. So there are, there is one plug which is hidden, or which was hidden down below the C stepper motor. So let's plug this in. It's also really nicely color coded. Come on. Okay. I suppose the other side... no, the other side is actually connected to this one. So now we should be all set.
Wow, thanks, Robert.
Thanks, Robert,
That's
for
very
the
generous.
20 bucks. Finally caught you live. Yeah, really nice of you. Thanks. It's helping us out tremendously. It's helping Robin out because he might get some sous vide steak for the next live stream.
I am looking forward.
Yeah. Perfect. Again, really flattered. Thanks for the money. Not used to that. So we have finished wiring. We need to check the zip ties, which is fine. Do not cut them off. And the next thing is, and the last thing is the spool holder.
Yeah, it's right here.
Which will be...
Do we have screws?
Screw you, yes we
for
do.
it? So we do not have a single 3D printed part on that unit so far.
And nothing really... there are some injection molded parts, but most of the things are...
sheet metal.
Sheet metal, steel.
I mean, not only sheet metal, it's... I think it's well over a millimeter. Seriously?
Yeah. Where did I put the screws?
Where is the Bowden tube exiting the frame?
The Bowden tube is... Well, the Bowden tube is starting right here. Right here, then following the wires, and then going into the extruder.
So this looks kind of bent right here. So the Bowden tube. Do you think that's, you know, because it was clamped down here?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it should settle over time. I hope this is not too.
But bad. I guess that's something you shouldn't actually forget to pull out.
I think it will be pulled out as soon as you start.
Oh, you go down. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So I have 3 screws right here.
We only need 4.
Do we?
I think.
Yeah, you're right.
It could be these 2 screws holding the spool holder to the frame are already in there.
Yeah,
somewhere.
there are. No, these are.
Maybe look at the other side.
Do we? Where does it actually connect? Kind of lost at the moment. Let's see how it looks like.
So you can see the mechanical engineer in its
in its full glory. I think so. that you guys can also see that. This should go right here, so we probably loosen these two screws right here, get that into place, and this is just connected by two of the three screws we have.
So we got one spare?
We have one spare.
Okay. So let me put that together. Where's the toolbox? Here, right here.
Oh, you can
so what are these actually for?
I have no clue.
Made out of O2 tool steel, hardened?
That's the good stuff. Dara B is asking for what is my opinion on the wire for the heated bed. Yeah, maybe let's take a look at that. I don't know if this had been an issue in the past.
Many printers have that issue. With the,
Could you maybe change the camera angle? Okay, so let's go into this direction. The wire for the heated bed goes out of this side right here and is in kind of a heat shrink tube and goes back in here. It is at least strain relief that the solder joints don't get loaded, but it doesn't look like as if it is the best solution, and it does kind of rub at this edge. So this could be a point of failure in the future.
And it is soldered, not connected via a socket. So
yeah, but it's at least strain relieved, so the solder joints shouldn't get loaded.
I mean, it's not a big deal actually to change the wire, but like it is here, it could be because the bend is pretty sharp here. It's a pretty sharp angle down here. Which is always, you know, if you go back and forth and you have a sharp angle, it's always a bad thing.
All right, so let's continue with the spool holder that we can make some magic smoke.
Yeah, where do you want to put it now? Right here?
Yeah, right here.
Okay,
this is the proper location.
Let me put it like this.
So I will see. Do you have my multi-tool? Ah, yeah, there it is. Okay, so I will be unscrewing these two. Hopefully the frame doesn't fall apart now.
Yeah, these have, you can adjust them if you need.
This is, yeah, this is for adjusting if the frame is perpendicular or not. Yukon this Auge, he has bought an Ender 3 for $150 yesterday. So he's, okay, so you had some issues with a bent bed. We'll check that in a second. I hope this is not an issue on this printer, because this would be really a bummer. Yeah, I have it. But this is the thing, I'm always curious how that can happen with these glass beds, because the glass sheets are usually quite flat, but yeah, I have heard many people saying that about other Creality printers. But if you got your CR10 for $150, that's quite a good deal. I don't know if you have already calculated in customs.
Oh yeah.
All right, what does it say right here? This paper can be used for leveling. Okay, so let's remove the paper, and I'll get a ruler, and then we can check if the bed is flat.
Oh. This is actually really a glued glass bed. It's glued to the aluminum, like heating PCB heat bed, and it has some sort of coating on it.
Yeah, which is called the Ultra Base.
I hope you can see that on camera, but it has some kind of like structure in it. Yeah, it's hard to see. So what do you do when you mess up the print bed? I mean,
it
doesn't look like a cheap part to replace.
So
So there's no,
well, if you break
tape or something?
if you break the glass, you are screwed. But you can just clip on another piece of glass that would be working. Would just make the heat up procedure a bit longer. If you mess up the ultra base, I really like printing on glass, so that shouldn't be an issue. Since some people have complained that there are some bent beds, I have a ruler right here, which is
Not bent?
hopefully not bent. I even have a, how do you call that in English? I think it's a straight edge or something like that.
Yeah, I think, straight edge.
But this should be okay. It's not perfectly flat, but in this, nope. I have no doubt. This looks very good.
It's not warm, but
It's not warm yet. Yeah, you're right there.
but I think one viewer said that it was bent already in the cold when it came. So
Yeah.
it's not the case with this unit.
Yeah. Clean the ultra base with alcohol only. Okay, so you can get a new sheet of ultra base for $10. Then, how is it called? Build tag would be another option if you are happy with these print surfaces, plastic ones. I'm still a huge fan of glass and using some adhesion sprays or adhesion sticks, so that's also pretty nice. And
I'm a huge fan of the flex bed, the spring steel bed.
Ooh.
You don't like it?
Oh, I love it.
Oh yeah, so that's what.
That's pretty
Can you
nice.
convert this unit to some kind, like,
There are magnetic beds, so where you kind of glue a magnetic sheet on your glass bed and then have a flexible
Okay.
thing which goes
But I
on
mean,
there.
you would like. Are you sure you don't want to get rid of the glass if you want to use a flex bed?
It would be an option, but I don't think that you can remove the glass from the heated bed. I think it's stuck pretty well on there.
Could be, yeah. So, let's release some magic smoke.
Let's release some magic smoke. Maybe let's clean up the table a little because...
Do you want to try out this spool of PLI filament?
Yeah, why not? They have delivered that with the printer. It's usually not the greatest filament, but it should work.
So this is PLA, I think. Yeah, it's PLA.
We need the power cord. So this printer was delivered from Amazon Germany, and it includes a German Schuko-Stecker, a German power plug, which is pretty nice. No adapters used right here.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a plug everybody has, like 10 at home or something. It's just.
I actually didn't have one, and I asked my dad a couple of days.
Seriously?
That he brings me some home. And now I have a couple of spares, but I don't know how I lost them or where I put them. But this is really something I was lacking.
I think I got a whole box at home. Like, I seriously think I got 10 or more spare or something. I don't know why.
Okay, so this is of. So far I'm pretty happy with the build, if you can call it a build.
The only thing I'm concerned about is the height of the spool holder. Do you think you can place every spool you like on that? Because it's
I'll give it a try and see how the.
I'm pretty sure this spool is gonna fit, but do you have any bigger? No.
This right here's the Prusa spool.
Yeah, I think it has the same diameter. Yeah, so that's gonna be fine. It just looked pretty small,
but. One thing we will be doing is just cleaning the bed with some alcohol.
Don't forget to put on your gloves.
Oh yeah. Well, I have some smeary fingers at the moment, and I don't really know where they're coming from.
Yeah, so you have to protect the printer from your fingers. So put on the gloves.
I'm just lacking any. Do we have paper towels right here? Ah, yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Let's get some paper towels.
Ultra base is awesome. Let's see.
Yeah, as I said, I asked ANYCUBIC to send me that printer because a colleague of mine is constantly recommending that printer to me. So I thought, yeah, why not try it out and see how it works. It's not the most recent printer, but I think it's a pretty nice package so far.
So you're supposed to not use any glue stick or something? You're just printing directly onto the ultra base?
Yes.
Or is it like on the glass if you say you have to put on some magic glue or whatever?
No, yeah, I think, I don't know how the ultra base works with other materials besides PLA, but I think this is working without any, well, additives pretty well.
Oh, and by the way, we do have 2 limit switches on the Z-axis, which is a good thing because it's driven by 2 steppers, and if they get out of sync, they are going to be in sync with every homing.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, I guess let's see and try out if it releases some magic smoke. So
where are the safety
cross your
glasses?
fingers. Where did I put them? I don't know. It's greeting us with a really nice sound.
No fans?
No fans so far. You are right. But we have a really nice. Ooh.
You wanna? Let's go to the
Yeah, that
camera.
looks pretty. Okay. So one of the things which do stand out from the ANYCUBIC is that it has a full color touchscreen.
Let me just find an angle where the.
You can maybe just rise the feet a little.
Oh yeah.
Sorry for the reflections in the picture.
Eventually we'll make it. Okay.
Yeah. The question currently was risen, what kind of firmware it uses. I don't know which firmware it is using. I will check that later, just to find out.
The display has its own firmware. Yeah, that's what we saw before. It has its own PCB, its own microcontroller, and it's communicating, I guess, via RS like 232 or something to the main board. And that's something my printer also has. And it's, if you like are into electronics and modding, you can make your own display unit and make it work with the actual controller.
Yeah.
Which is what I did in one of my videos, in the reverse engineering video. And I like it because you are very flexible in terms of displays.
Yeah. All right. So the first thing that the manual is telling us is that we need to insert the filament. So it says go on tool, filament, tools. Ooh. So I think it's a resistive touchscreen. Tool.
Yeah, which looks
filament.
like a cover, but it's the display.
And then it filament in. Straighten the end of the filament, pass the filament through the filament sensor.
Oh, the menu disappeared again?
Oh, yeah. Well, let me just...
I tried to find a better camera angle because I don't think people... Can you see that actually, what we are showing on display? Because I don't think so.
So now the first fan started going. That's probably because the hot end is heating up.
Yeah, it has 130 degrees right now.
130 already?
Yes,
Oh.
and it's set to 230. I think that's a bit too much for PLA.
It's fine.
Oh, I do smell some magic.
Can you maybe change the big camera angle?
Sure.
Okay guys, so what I just did is I was just inserting the filament into the filament runout sensor and then inserted it into the Titan style extruder and now pushing it all the way forward.
And there is some blue filament coming out of the nozzle actually.
So they actually tried it out. Okay, so I am all the way in. And actually everything is also described right here in the manual. Okay, we are at 225 degrees Celsius. So let's say filament in. do anything?
Is it loading? It sounds like it's loading.
Yeah, it is loading, but... Ah, there we go. There we go. I don't know, it might have been a problem that there was the kink.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's loading. So how much is it loading?
Quite a bit actually. Let's just hit stop.
They want to sell some filament. It might be endless, so we have to press stop.
Yeah, so I press stop. Let's go on just preheat and get the temperature a little bit down, because 230, even though it is fine for that filament and I don't see any bubbles in it, it still is kind of hot. So concerning the noise level, it is not the quietest printer. It's like in the range of the CR10, in my opinion.
Is it the hot end fan which is so loud, or is it the fan in the... Where's the sound coming from? Both?
I think it's both. So the hot end cooling fan is also not the quietest. Okay. So we should home all of the axes. So let's click on home all and see if it crashes. X-axis is homing, Y-axis is homing, and now the C-axis is starting.
These wires are gonna...
Yeah,
That's not perfect.
that's not perfect. Alright, so we are homed. The level seems to be a little bit too low, but in the next step we will start with the leveling procedure, which is also described right here in the manual. So it says, what does it say? Setup. Then it says order. Oh. Wait a second.
You can... That's interesting. You can set the speed in here, like override G-code, I think.
That's interesting.
That's hard to see on camera, but...
Okay. So it looks like that they don't have a leveling assistant in there, and with switching the motors off, we are now free to move the axis.
Okay.
So what I did is I was just ripping a piece of the sheet which was on the heat bed, and I'll move the print head to all of the four corners of the heated bed and adjust the level of the printer. Leveling is done by some grub screws. Just put this under there and until it grabs.
Yeah, the fan is... No sous vide this time. No, unfortunately not.
No. The Prusa is blocking sous vide cooking at the moment because there are some new safety features in the firmware, and I still need to see how I can avoid them.
But he didn't tell until I arrived, so...
Yeah, I'm sorry. Otherwise, you would not have come. But since we got some really generous donations in the stream today, there will definitely be some really good sous vide cooking in the next stream.
I hope so.
Okay, so leveling is pretty fine. The grub screws feel really nice. if I turn them in the right direction. That's fine.
Yeah, do we have any prepared print or something? Are you heating up the bed?
It is heating up, yeah, it's warm. Okay, that's fine. Looks good. No, I think I'm good. All right. I think there is nothing left to do. Then let's just home everything again. Let's go and set up tools. So the touchscreen is really nice. It's really responsive.
That's due to the separate controller.
Yeah. So the screen is not handled by the Arduino or the ANYCUBIC.
It sure is another ANYCUBIC, but it doesn't have to do the printing and the screen. That's the advantage.
Yeah. So no lags right here. Okay. Let's go back. I don't know if there are some prints on the SD card, but otherwise I'll just get an SD card and we'll put like a Marvin on there and start the print. That doesn't take too long, and yeah, we can see the results in maybe half an hour. So you can actually okay, let's maybe you can switch on to desktop. That should show Cura. And
where's the desktop?
It's in the background.
I'm no Windows guy, so so you can actually desktop is just showing Cura.
Well,
wherever it is.
This is actually a window in the background. At first, when I set up OBS Studio, I thought I would show the whole desktop, but then I just ended up with Cura. Okay, so guys, what I want to do is I am in the, I think, latest version of Cura, and I'll add a new printer in here, and I think the ANYCUBIC i3 Mega, which is basically the same printer, is already included in Cura. So I add the printer. It will show up in here, and let's open a Marvin. Let's set the layer height to
what nozzle is installed? 0.4?
It's an 0.4 nozzle that is installed at the moment. Slice it. 23 minutes. That's fine.
So it doesn't have Wi-Fi or anything like that?
It doesn't have Wi-Fi. So I think the only connectivity you are getting is using the SD card.
Yeah, I hope so. It has USB, right? So if you want to, take Octoprint or something.
Let me check. There is a USB connection on the side. So maybe just plug that into the PC there and see if it works. Okay, so let's save it to the removable drive. Just take it out again. And so I have just sliced the Marvin figure at 0.15 millimeter layer height in Cura, and we'll plug it in and see if it works. And this is really the nice thing with the full-size SD cards, that getting them into the printer is totally not an issue. So I'll go to print.
Oh, there is something on there.
Yeah, there's already something on there. There's the G code for my Prusa on there. Let's select this one and hit print. The things which are really nice, that is... No, it's not telling you the time. So it is starting.
Maybe it's telling the time just once it's starting?
Yeah, so it's still heating the bed,
Yeah,
and then it will start with the print.
So I think that's better.
Yeah. So two of the features that the ANYCUBIC has is filament runout detection and also a power panic functionality. And this is something we will try out during the printing process. So I'll snip off the filament and see what's happening there. And I also will be just disconnecting it to power and see if it is able to resume the print. Power outages are actually not a problem here in Germany,
No.
but if you follow Joel, the 3D Maker noob, you know that, for example, on Malta, they have it quite often, and also maybe in other countries, this is maybe a thing.
Yeah. I think I'm stepping onto the, wireless distribution, how do you call that? The switch to turn it off. I think that's more often the case that I accidentally hit that switch, then we get a real power outage.
Yeah. Okay. So do you want to change the camera angle? Yeah. Okay, so it is homed all of the axes.
What is it doing?
And it's starting to print?
It started, but we have a blob down there.
Yeah. No, looks fine. Okay. I don't know why it is not. Well, it's kind of sharp. The first layer looked very nice, wasn't an issue. And now it's starting with the printing process, which is actually quite fast.
Yeah, it is. How fast is it? What did you slice it with?
Well, you can go into Cura and take a look at it. It's 50 millimeters a second, but maybe the acceleration settings are pretty high.
What's the rattling noise?
Yeah, so the thing is with this printer, even though everything is made from sheet metal, we have some rattling noise in here, and yeah, this is probably coming from a connection which is not perfectly bolted down.
I also hear some bubbles in the extrusion. Do you hear that? Do you think it's moisture or something?
No, I don't hear anything.
No? Okay.
Yeah, so that looks pretty nice.
So we got a progress. We don't, but I mean I think every printer has progress.
Yeah, it has a progress. It doesn't tell us how much time is remaining, or does it?
No, it's just counting up.
Yeah. So if you guys want to get Wi-Fi connectability with this printer, you can just hook up Raspberry Pi with Octoprint on it, and it's just a great setup. You might even be able to put a Raspberry Pi directly into the housing. I don't know how it will work out with the shielding of the housing for the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
But there are probably some pretty nice solutions. You can just maybe put a box right here and have a small housing for the Raspberry Pi.
Of course. I mean, it depends. You are not like into getting the maximum like range or something, because most of the printers have their Wi-Fi module inside an enclosure.
Maybe also one thing which might be interesting. So as you can see right here, it doesn't say like the old one, ANYCUBIC i3 Mega. This is the updated version, which is now called the Mega-S, which has, well, as new features, the improved extruder, which is a Titan style extruder, which helps with complicated filaments.
Someone was asking if it can print PETG.
It can definitely print PETG. So I actually made myself a cheat sheet. The maximum nozzle temperature of this printer is 275 degrees Celsius, which kind of looks like as if they are using an all-metal hot end. I can't confirm that. I don't know if it's a Bowden style with good cooling, but ANYCUBIC says that it can go up to 275 degrees Celsius, which makes it usable for ABS, which makes it usable for nylons. The maximum heated bed temperature is 100 degrees Celsius. Since this is a 12-volt system, heating it up to 100 degrees Celsius might take a while, but it's supposedly to go all the way up to 100 degrees Celsius. The build volume, if you guys are interested, is 210 millimeters by 210 millimeters by 205 millimeters, which is a little bit smaller than the Ender 3, for example. But you have the advantage of being able to print a little bit hotter.
I am about trying Octoprint the first time. Can you recommend any webcam? If I'm not mistaken, this is the Logitech C920.
This is the C920?
So, because, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. When I have been using Octoprint for my printers, I always use the Raspberry Pi camera. But I think this one is also working without a problem with Octoprint.
Yeah, I had Octoprint running with the C920.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I just said that this is the C920, so you get a sense for the image quality.
Yeah.
But it's compatible with the Octoprint.
Yeah. Daraby just said that the PDFE tube is touching the nozzle, so I'm not 100% sure if the 275 degrees Celsius is really something you should aim for. Maybe stay at, well, 250 degrees maximum, but even at 250 degrees Celsius you are able to print most nylons and also ABS. So again, regarding the noise level, it's not the quietest printer, but it's also not unbearable, to be honest.
It's okay. But I don't know. I think we might just have gotten used to the sound, because once we started, it kind of turned out to be seriously loud. But you know, if I just compare it to my printer, I think it's, I don't know, it's a normal loudness. Yeah. It's not entirely silent, but it's not, you know, overly loud.
I think the easiest thing if you want to upgrade this printer is, I'm quite sure that there are a couple of new fan shrouds available for this one, and if you add a quieter fan in there, your noise level should be reduced quite a bit.
Yeah.
And you are able to add silent step sticks on the main board, because they are all on
pin headers. How sturdy is the frame during printing? I mean, as far as... Oh look, that's making a difference in sound.
Ah, yeah, so...
Yeah, you have to put it on like kind of different feet or something.
Yeah.
Like the Prusa upgrade.
Yeah, so for example, my Prusa is on a cement paver and some foam below it, and that makes it so much quieter, because the table is not acting as a big resonance loudspeaker below that. So if I just lift it up, stepper noises are almost not there anymore.
Yes. And if you get a silent fan, then you're almost ready.
Yeah. So this would be a really nice upgrade. Everything else seems to be really fine. You guys hear the vibrations? Well, we can put the microphone on a piece of foam. I don't know if that's making it better. And we can also put the printer on a piece of foam. It's pretty heavy.
It's seriously heavy. Oh, that's better. Oh my god, that's entirely different.
So guys, just take your packing and put it under your printer. That's making quite a bit of a difference.
Wow, that's a serious difference.
I think we are actually at the point where we can try out the filament runout detection and the power panic functionality.
Which one do you want to start with?
I think I'll start with the filament runout detection.
I think we should start.
Power panic?
If you cut it now, you got, you know, if you want to try out, I think it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
Take where are the pliers? And this thing is seriously sharp here.
Yeah. This thing will rip your hand off. You're looking for the pliers?
Yes.
They're back here. Yeah, let's start with the power panic functionality. So this printer has a power panic functionality, hard word, which means that if the power goes out, the printer remembers at which location it stopped and should be able to recover from the power outage. So what I will be doing is I'll be just pulling out the mains cable, and then we'll see what happens. So
do that.
Cross your fingers. Maybe you can put the,
Sure.
the webcam.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's silent.
That's
good.
So it's maybe a little bit louder than we thought. So the thing is, I guess it's not a good thing if, well, the power panic only works for a certain amount of time, because when the print bed cools down, it will release the print. So if it's just for a couple of seconds, it should be fine. So I take the cable and plug it back in.
And you got heat creep from the hot end? No
and
cooling anymore?
Yeah, that could also be an issue, but we'll see. So I plug it back in. Hopefully we will be greeted by the same nice noise.
Would be funny if it made a sad noise now.
Okay.
Do we have a different smell right now?
No, but it's not telling me anything.
Okay, that's disappointing.
Power panic didn't work. That's really disappointing. Let's see what happens. Maybe it only works if we start a new print. Nope.
Maybe we should have taken a look at the menu.
I'm quite sure that it has a power panic functionality. If I'm not right, please let me know.
Print resume. We didn't see that.
I think it's that. Oh, damn it.
Oh, I guess now you have overwritten the print. Print
Status.
Did you enable it beforehand?
Well, I did not disable it.
I'm not sure if... Is it enabled?
I can't print. I can't push on resume, but that's probably the reason, because I started another print.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, guys.
But no worries. Let's just start over again.
Yeah.
Let's go. Do we have a settings? Yeah, we do. Status. No. Oh, here's the resume button. Yeah. Okay. I see. But I don't see a menu setting for enabling tools.
Reset filament.
More. No.
Let's just give it another try.
Yeah. Print. Which one was it? I think
yeah, it was this one right here. And now it says resume.
Huh? Yeah,
Well,
but it's the progress is at 0%.
Yeah, let's just. Okay, maybe I screwed that up, but it's not as simple as, for example, with the CR10S, where it tells you directly when you restart the machine. Okay, something went wrong. Do you want to restart the print?
Which is actually the expected behavior.
Yeah.
So, guys, do you know what we did wrong? I mean, I have seen a couple of things in the chat, but is anyone certain about the procedure of the resuming feature?
same file and then print. A bit confusing.
But I guess that's what we've been doing.
Yeah. Die Datei nochmal anwählen und dann resume. Yeah, we'll start all over again. The reason, probably the good thing is that we have chosen the small Marvin figure that helps us now with the restart. JMTX is asking what's the firmware on the printer. I don't know which firmware they are using. If any one of you guys know, just please leave a comment down below.
Oh look, this is interesting. You have to, there's the resume from outage, outage page. You have to put your part onto the rear end because the machine is homing when you resume the print. And if it's in the middle of the print, it's going to be knocked off. So,
well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, the question is,
for the first time of using these functions, customers are required to add G5 to the start G code.
Okay.
Which we didn't do.
No, we didn't do, but let's just give it a second and try it again.
Well, I don't think you can try it again because what is G5? Like enabling the resume from outage feature?
I don't know.
Yeah, G5. I think. Maybe let's try the filament runout sensor first now.
Well, let's just give it another try and see if it works or if it's not working.
Yeah, try it, but I don't think it's gonna work.
So I turn it off. Otherwise, we can just go into Cura again for a second.
Let me modify the start code.
Yeah, you can modify the start code maybe. You can preferences.
This is a Windows machine, so
it's great.
So it's different.
Printers. ANYCUBIC, and then go on machine settings.
Oh, let me switch to the desktop. Start G code G5.
No, it has G5 in there.
Okay.
So yeah. So I have restarted. I have stopped the printer and restarted it. Let's go on print. I'll select our Marvin. And right here it says resume.
These buttons are a bit confusing because they look like they would be disabled.
Yeah.
Just from the color scheme.
Yeah. Can you open the chat window again?
Oh yeah. Here's the chat window.
Oh, that's a small chat window. Dieter is asking, Marlin has got a resume feature. Yeah, Marlin does have a resume feature. It is basically the resume feature that Creality put the first time on their CR10S. Zoran, check if it is the last firmware. Yeah, I'll be checking that later. It's directly out of the box. It should be that old.
So what it's doing now, it's going up the temperature again and hopefully starting to resume the print.
Yeah, let's see if it's ripping the foot of the Marvin from the build platform.
I think it would be nice if the resume feature kind of cranks up. It doesn't have any limit switches on the upper side. To don't knock off the prints.
Well,
I mean, it would take forever, but it's, you know.
Well, it could just do like 5 or 2 millimeters. That would be totally sufficient.
You never know how far off you are.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. It does need to home the z-axis again as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the Prusa is only doing a homing of the x and y axis. I'm quite interested to see what this one is doing. So we are at 199 degrees at the moment. So it should resume in the next couple of seconds. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're homing, but we have a pretty big blob of material right here.
This is going to be a downer. Oh, it's purging. And it's resuming.
Yeah, but purging is usually fine because there is some material which dripped out of the nozzle.
But this blob is, you know.
Yeah, it's screwing up that layer. And as I understand it, the resume functionality, also that is used in Marlin, does not know at exactly which position it stopped, so it redoes the whole layer. So you might have too much material at these locations. But it's better. Maybe it's better than losing the whole print.
Probably.
Yeah.
How is it on the Prusa? I think it has some capacitors in there, so it moves away the printhead, so no blob.
Yeah.
Builds up.
Yeah. So the Prusa has, I think, I don't know if these capacitors are in the power supply or if they are separate things on the main board. But as soon as the Prusa notices that you have a power outage, it turns off the heater.
Yeah.
So because this is using the most amount of power, and it uses the remaining power to move the z-axis upwards a little bit, that you don't get that blob, as we have seen. But besides that, I think it's fine again. So let's continue a little bit and then we try out the filament runout detection.
So at the end of the day, the feature is actually usable. So it looks like it can recover from a print.
It's usable, but you need to know how it works. And if it's like here in Germany that you only kind of need it once per year, you might screw it up.
I mean, what you can do if you are in the room and having a power outage is just pushing the carriage to the rear end so no blob occurs. Because it's foaming anyways.
Yeah, the question is, do you stand directly next to the printer?
That's the question.
When the power outage happens.
I mean, if you are the fool who stands on the switch of the power supply, then you can do that. But
yeah, it was a little bit quieter when the printer wasn't running. But as I said, I need to check Thingiverse if there are a couple of different or custom fan shrouds available. And with, for example, a Noctua fan in here, this could be a really quiet printer.
Yeah. I mean, if you put it on foam, there's no issue with the stepper motor sounds or something like that. It's just the fan, actually.
Yeah. Hans, will I do a review of the ANYCUBIC Chiron sometime? At the moment, I don't know. I don't have a Chiron. I think Joe, the 3D Maker noob, did a review of his Chiron, or he has actually two. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I don't know if ANYCUBIC will be happy with this live stream as a review for this printer and will send me other stuff. But on the other hand, doing printer reviews is not something I really enjoy to do on my channel because it's a lot of work and many others are doing it maybe even better than I am, so I'm usually sticking to the more engineering stuff. But if it is an interesting printer, maybe it's worth taking a look at it. Yeah, it's printing pretty fast, and taking a look at the Marvin we have done right here. I think the cooling of the print is not the best. So especially right here in the back, there are some areas which are not perfect.
Yeah, probably the other side of the fan.
Yeah.
It's just blowing from one side.
One thing which I find really stupid. Let's turn that a little. So we have the sheet metal part right here, which is covering the part cooling fan, and it only has a couple of holes in here, and this totally restricts the airflow to the fan.
And also probably generates a lot of noise.
Maybe also generates a lot of noise. So maybe just take this shroud thing right here away and kind of drill out the holes that you have have better airflow. And this, I think, might already improve a couple of things tremendously.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, Mark also says that he printed an open fan shroud from Thingiverse, and that helped a lot with the fan noise. If you know which one you printed, maybe put the thing number in the chat so that the others can also take a look at that.
So just by looking at the unit, I think it might be also maybe a possibility to put two fans, one on each side, and just cut the RPMs in half. So
Yeah.
you got cooling from both sides and a lower RPM.
Yeah. So one of the things, so the printer is working quite nice at the moment. Assembly was really easy, which I kind of enjoyed because it's more or less just putting in 8 screws and then 3 plugs, and then you're all set. So I guess this printer is quite well suitable for a beginner. The bed on mine was totally straight, no problem there. Leveling was easy. I really enjoyed the screen.
Yeah,
that's kind of a nice feature.
It's very responsive. I mean, the overall feature set is decent. The temperatures are decent, the size is decent, the quality is decent.
Yeah, it is around a good $300, so it is more expensive than an Ender 3. But I think it's still competing. It seems to be, so far, kind of a nice package, especially with all of the electronics enclosed into this box right here. But maybe time will tell how good it fares. Roter Fruchtzwerg is asking, are you sure the printer isn't also homing to recover its X and Y position? So the printer was homing X and Y and Z because it doesn't know at which location the power outage happened. Nico is asking... Nico is asking, hey Stefan, may I ask you what you do for a living? I am a 3D printing research engineer in a big German company. So it's kind of strange that I do 3D printing at work and then come home and do 3D printing as a hobby again. But yeah, at the moment it still works out.
You can say you do 3D printing for a living.
I do 3D printing for a living. Yeah. Shall we get the snippers?
Oh yeah.
So what we will be doing now is testing the filament runout detection.
Yeah, you want to turn it around?
I'll turn the printer. So we have the spool holder right here, which is pretty nice actually. The filament runout sensor is directly screwed to the frame. And what I will be doing now is I'll simulate a filament runout by just snipping the filament off right here. And we'll see what happens. Let's maybe take a look at the screen. I don't know how much filament do we still have. Okay, it's already in the sensor, so it should stop in any second. There we go. Okay, so what's it telling us? Lack of filament or filament monitor abnormal. Okay.
You can choose.
So what do I need to do now?
Oh yeah, that's...
So it gives me the option to continue, but do I now just take out... Okay, I just remove the remaining filament and put new material in. You maybe want to switch to the main camera again?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just removing the filament by, pushing this lever, take the remaining filament out. Maybe let's continue with
something different.
Let's continue with the Prusa filament. Then we see at which location the problem actually happened. So this is silver Prusament. Also the filament runout sensor is nicely injection molded, no 3D printed parts on the printer at all. even though I wouldn't really mind.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I mean, look at the Prusa printer.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a. You have to know which parts you can do 3D printed. You cannot say every part is bad if you 3D print it.
We have tweezers, don't we? Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
Oops. Can you change the camera? So I have changed the filament. I just removed the purged filament there, and then we hit continue. And then I hit continue. And now it should continue with printing. Yeah. Gnar Head is saying odd choice of the filament sensor location. I think it's working out pretty nice because it goes pretty well with the location of the filament spool.
Yeah, and you got enough room to pull out the old filament.
Yeah. No, nothing looks really dumb at the moment.
No. I don't see any deal breaker right now.
Yeah. Yeah, so it already continued with the silver Prusa filament. Or Prusa filament, I think is...
Yeah, it's kind of redundant.
Yeah. TrueTech is asking, wonder if there are any medical grade filaments or resin brands that a dentist would call good enough for durability, hip joints, etc. I think a dentist does hip joints, but going back to the dentist, there are medical grade resins you can use for your Formlabs printer that are usable in medical applications. I don't know if they are used as a positive, how do you say, positive shape for then vacuum forming for like braces or things like that.
Yeah.
But there is that. There are some medical grade filaments also which you can use, for example, for how do you call it, hand braces, prosthetics. But it's not that common at the moment.
The thing is, I just got a couple of my cousin is working in a company and they are making plastic parts for the medical industry, and the main thing is not actually the material, but the environment in which the parts are produced. So if you have a printer with lubricated rods or something,
Yeah.
you're going to have trouble taking that part into the medical industry.
Yeah, there's lead in the nozzle, in the brass. There's lead, so this can just like go into the filament and make it not food safe anymore.
Yeah, I mean, of course, material is an issue, but it's also the printer and your environment.
Yeah, if you really want to make hip joints, you need to go to metal 3D printing. Well, the joint part, maybe it's a plastic, but all of the mechanically loaded parts need to be metal. Otherwise, it's not durable enough. And this is kind of the thing I do at work. Not really for the medical industry, but we have metal 3D printers at work where we do parts for the aerospace industry.
That's a pretty interesting job title, actually. Doing 3D printing, industrial 3D printing stuff for aerospace.
Yeah, it is really interesting.
Sounds like a kid's dream, actually.
It is really, it's really kind of a dream, and I'm really happy that I can do that as work, because it's so interesting, because 3D printing metals or 3D printing in general is technology which is really, really young, even though, well, FDM printers are kind of common nowadays, doing really parts for aerospace industry. that need to be of very, very high quality.
Aren't the Merlin engine, like SpaceX Merlin engine in combustion chambers, are 3D printed?
They are, some parts of the Marlin engine are 3D printed out of super alloys like Inconel 718 or something like that. These are metal alloys that hold their strength even at high temperatures and don't start to corrode at these temperatures.
So how much are 750 grams of that material?
It's actually interesting, but for example, well, I know it for titanium, for example, you get a kilogram of titanium powder nowadays at a price of around 200 euros.
Okay.
But, well...
So you only need the machine?
You only need the machine, which will set you back like €500,000.
And I don't think the Merlin engine combustion chamber is a thing on Thingiverse, so you still have to need some engineers and all that stuff.
Yeah. So if you have a lot of money, you can buy these machines at the moment, but it still takes lots of experience and R&D into that direction to make the process really repeatable and get the material quality to a point where you can use it for these really highly demanding applications. Yeah, but coming back to your next video, because I think the last one is already almost a year old.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, I think it's about 10 months or something.
10 months.
Yeah.
When are you expecting to get your parts from China?
I am hoping that my parts are arriving next week, and like I said, the code and all that stuff, the video editing, actually everything is almost finished. I just need that one part and the video will go live, and I even started with the next video that will build on top of that video. So,
okay. So you're making a real video series now?
Yeah, it's going to be a 2-part series. Yeah, and I made some interesting things, I guess. I made a custom PCB, actually 2, and yeah, with some SMD components, and I really took programming serious. I have an embedded real-time operating system running and all that stuff. It's gonna be interesting.
But this is the great thing. So you have been doing some mechanical engineering classes. You finished, almost finished a whole informatica. How do you say
computer science.
Computer science bachelor's, and now you are doing electrical engineering.
Yeah, and we were talking about that before. It's just I have an interest in all of these, disciplines, and if I would have to make a definitive choice in which industry I want to work, it's going to be very rough for me to make that decision, because I love, electrical engineering, I love programming, and I also enjoy working in Fusion 360 and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's the reason why you're self-employed, or you used to be self-employed.
Yeah, actually, because I do not find a job that offers me all these things. No, it's not an ESP32, it is an STM32. And the operating system is Mbed OS. And yeah.
So maybe I'm totally wrong there, but the ESP32 is the small Wi-Fi module you get there? And what's the difference to the SMT32?
STM32?
STM32?
Well, I mean, in terms of, the specs, you can get... I'm not sure how much memory and all that stuff is in the ESP32. I think it's more like, I don't know, for me it's more like if you are a PlayStation or an Xbox guy. I mean, I'm totally sure I could make my project possible with the ESP32. It's just I started with the STM32. I know kind of the chipset and all that stuff, so I do not see any reason to switch to another system. I mean, the ESP32 has built-in Wi-Fi. I think there is no STM32 with built-in Wi-Fi, but I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, you just choose one and go for it. Because it's pretty tedious to learn the data sheets. Not that I scroll through the data sheets like a book, but you get used to it. Like you make a couple projects and you don't just see a reason to switch to another system and start all over again.
Yeah, because also they are not, well, hugely different in price, and if you know one, it's easier to spend less time there and maybe pay 10 cents more.
That's a good point. I'm not doing any mass production stuff. I don't care if the controller costs me $1.20 or $1.22. So yeah, I just started with the STM32.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah. Hill City was asking, is the titanium powder printing process likely to have the same powder waste percentage as the well-known SLA processes? So SLA process is where you use the resin, and I don't know actually how high the percentage of wasted material is there, because well, you can kind of reuse the resin. SLS is another technology where you use plastic powder to generate plastic parts, mostly out of nylon, and where you really throw away 50% of the powder that is still in the machine, so you waste quite a lot of material. With metal 3D printing, it's the thing that you can kind of reuse all of the powder. So you take it out of the machine, just sieve it, add some new powder, and then you can start all over again. If you pay close attention to the process, powder parameters might change, but they're quite stable over a bit of time.
How about, in the cavities in the part? If you go with 50% infill in, let's say, a sphere or something, I mean, there's no way to cure the powder in there.
Yeah.
So you have to go with 100% infill, or?
Yeah. So in SLS and DSLM 3D printing, you don't really use infill patterns. You have the geometry always 100% dense, and if you want to hollow out a part, you need to do that physically in CAD. Yeah, okay. And then you need drain holes to drain out the remaining powder.
You have to put in drain holes.
Yeah, because, well, otherwise you will lose all the powder which is still in the part, and the powder is quite expensive, so you want to waste as little as possible.
And you might also get different characteristics in terms of like weight and all that stuff, because there's all the powder in there.
Yeah. Well, for some applications, having remaining powder in your part is kind of nice, because it adds a bit of dampening to the part. So if this part is under vibrations later, the small metal particles are sliding next to each other, generating friction and therefore dampening movements.
But is that seriously something you take into consideration while designing the part? That you will purposely trap powder in there, or?
There are some applications. You can take a look at several papers and studies where this has been done, but I wouldn't know that currently any real serial production parts use trapped powder in the parts themselves.
Sounds hacky.
Sounds hacky, but in theory there are some applications for that. And the thing is, well, if your part breaks open and you lose all of the powder itself sometimes isn't the most healthy and the most safe thing. So titanium is a pretty reactive material, and it can catch fire, the really small powder.
Yeah, especially powder.
Yeah. TrueTech, wonder how they make just one thing before we continue with that, hopefully you guys are fine with that. TrueTech was asking how they make the metal powders. They are not grinding the powder, because grinding the powder will give you really sharp particles. They're so-called atomizing it, so they are melting the metal and then kind of spraying drops of molten metal with argon, and this argon disperses the molten metal into small droplets. They solidify in the air and give you really spherical powder particles.
Okay. And the argon also prevents
oxidation.
Oxidation.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So I think Kira was saying 26 or 27 minutes for the print. We have now 26. That sounds pretty reasonable. Let's hit OK, and I'll turn the printer off, because the noise for the live stream is kind of annoying. So, yeah, let's turn it off for the moment.
And we got 220 people watching, which is really awesome.
Really awesome, yeah. Thanks everyone for joining in today on this Sunday. yeah, so we finished our Marvin and it looks kind of decent. So usually you would wait for a couple of minutes until the ultra base will cool down, because then the print should release on its own. I don't know if we should blow on there or just put some isopropanol next to it, that it kind of cools down here a little bit faster, because I don't want to ruin the ultra base.
Well, look how perfectly flat leveled your desk is.
Yeah, even though we have the foam on the underside. But yeah, let's just
Take the spatula.
this,
You don't want to. Yeah,
it's dangerous. It looks really dangerous. It's totally sharp. All right, so that released pretty easily.
But
maybe
it
also
did stick there pretty good.
Yeah, it stuck there pretty good. Okay, so let's see. So the color change in the part was because we tried out the filament runout detection, and then I loaded silver prusament in there. We see a little blob right here where the filament runout happened, but it's totally fine. Otherwise, yeah, the print looks nice. I don't really see any salmon skin so far on this part. As I have already said before, you can't really see that at the moment. Maybe I'll post some pictures on Twitter later. That the undersides were not perfectly cooled, and I would really upgrade the fan shroud of the ANYCUBIC, just that the cooling is better and maybe the printer is a little bit less noisy. But otherwise, it looked fine.
Absolutely.
I think, well, I can't really complain at any point at the moment. Or what do you think?
There's not much to say, like negative wise. I especially like the two-stepper Z-axis thing with the two limit switches, because that's always a thing when I see a printer with two stepper motors and no just a single limit switch, you will never get that thing in sync.
Yeah, because just with the pitch of the lead screw, it can drop with its own weight or under its own weight. So that is really nice to see there.
The assembly was straightforward. I don't think that's something.
Yeah, assembly was straightforward. Cura, the latest version of Cura, directly includes a profile for the ANYCUBIC.
The process of getting a recovering from a power outage is a bit tedious.
Yeah.
You might have to ask why there's no pop-up screen telling you asking you if you want to continue or not. I don't know why they don't build that into there, but yeah.
Still, it seems to be working really, really well. Of course, there's the comparison to the Ender 3, and the Ender 3 is cheaper, definitely. But I think both are probably good machines. This one is around 300, 330 bucks. The Ender 3 Pro is 270 bucks. You get some nice features on this machine the Ender 3 doesn't have. And the assembly is much easier because it's just like a 5-minute job. The Ender 3 on the other side has a little bit bigger build platform. So judging from what we have done so far, I think you might not be totally unhappy when you purchase this machine.
And you get a spare hot end, you get a set of nozzles, which is also a good thing. What is that actually? To clean the nozzle? Oh yeah. Look, we want to show that?
Yeah. So yeah, there are cleaning needles, like these acupuncture needles.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the English word.
Yeah.
There is a whole set of nozzles with different sizes included with the printer, up to I think 0.8 millimeters, which is pretty nice. There is a spare hot end delivered with the printer, which has an additional thermistor and a heater block in there, and also again another spare nozzle. I can't complain there at the moment. I think it's a pretty decent machine so far. So
yeah,
I think that concludes it quite well.
I guess.
So I don't know if you guys have any questions anymore. Leave them down below, or if you have additional things what you would upgrade on this printer if you own it on your own, just put it under the video as soon as it is in my archive, so that it is visible for everyone. Otherwise, yeah, thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for the very generous donations. There will be sous vide cooking again in the next live stream.
We hit the goal.
We hit the goal. And until then, thanks for watching. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Take a look at Robin's channel, link is down in the description.
Yeah, thanks, and I will promise to bring up the project in the next couple of weeks, or days even.
Looking forward to it.
That's a hard statement, but it is true. No, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
I had a great time, like always.
Yeah.
I was missing the sous vide, but he promised to bring it back again.
Yeah,
so,
next time. All right, have a nice Sunday, and see you around in the next one. Bye.
Have a great day.